with that, we're going to move on. We're going to stick with our food theme that we have here today. So you have your own example in your worksheets. And so when we talk about, so for all the social workers in the room, and maybe some other people, we have our micro and our macro. Micro is small, macro is big. And so how do we look at these issues from a individual level versus a system level, right? And so on one side of the circle, we have charity and direct service. The other side, we have community change and social justice. So what are examples in general of charity? But what is charity if you had to define it? Yes?
Help that we give to those who seek it.
Okay.
Not even. Help that people choose to give.
Okay, so help that people choose to give. All right. What are examples, if we were thinking about food, what are examples of charity?
Giving a person a fish.
Giving a person a fish, exactly. Other examples? Food drives. Did I hear something else? Same thing, okay.
Free school lunch.
Free school lunch, not from the charity point of view.
Or like that some students. Okay.
That goes on later. I can't see what, did you say something? Okay, so actually let's take a step back and define each one of these. So charity is giving someone something, right? What would be the difference between charity and direct service?
It's giving them the thing with money and food so they could eat it or spend it themselves.
A little bit more. Let's expand on that more.
So
Who is giving? If it's direct service, who is giving? Food pantry, it depends on the way it's organized. All right? So direct service is some kind of system that is in place, right? In order for people to get benefits. Charity, it may be a one-time deal on how to give things, but it's not necessarily as it could be. So food pantries are a little bit in the middle of that because it could be a person who's organizing at their house or collecting from people in the neighborhood. It could be a box outside that people keep on saying, I'm just going to have this one-time charity. Versus direct service is some kind of system organization in place in order to somehow give benefits. Does that make sense to people? So if we think about community change, what would be that if we had to define it?
Changes to institutions and beliefs at the community level.
Exactly. So it's changes to the institutions. So charity is one time or singular. Direct service is some type of institution in order to give out benefits. Community change and social justice is changes to the institutions in some types of way. So now we're going to go back and see if, from the issue of food, this is our issue, what are examples of charity? Giving money, literally taking money out of your pocket and giving 50 cents or $1 or $5. Other things of charity, for examples? How about cooking a meal for someone? Right? I've done that for my friends who I know are really low on groceries. I cook them a big meal and I give them the leftovers. All right, how about direct service? What are examples of direct service? We started saying them already.
Is that the welfare office?
Welfare office, yes. Food stamps is an example. And some of these kind of exist in the middle, right? We're kind of blending in. But food stamps would be an example of how to deal from a meso level, right? In between micro and macro. Anybody else? How about community gardens?
Could you clarify this one more time?
Yep.
So why is a community garden a direct service?
A lot of times when people cannot afford food, it may be related to their financials and their jobs. So a program that helps people apply for jobs would be another example of direct service. This space, this is connected to a school, but they're career centers related to helping people fix their resumes, right? How about on a macro level of social change and community action? I switched the words up.
Maybe pushing for higher allowances in food stamps.
Okay, but what would that require? A change in what?
Policy?
A change in policy, right? You're changing the institution, you're changing the rules to make sure that people receive those services. That is different from the food stamp service itself that goes in the middle for direct service, because now we are engaging in social action change, and we have to do things in order to create that change.
Is that micro level?
That's going to be the macro level,
Macro.
right? So creating employment programs for better, so people are better able to afford food, changing policies around food stamps, food cooperatives, right? Or creating money around those things. So when we look about these things, direct service is a one-time deal where you're maybe taking money out of your pocket. Direct service is an institution somehow related to helping people receive jobs or food, and then community change is changes of the institution through things like policies or mass protest, all of these things, right? Because we're organizing a mass amount of people. Those are the three different ways that we can affect the issue of food and hunger. All right? So which one of these is most effective? Oh, we think protest. Policy. All right? Anybody else?
I think they're both effective on different timelines.
Exactly. So the pros of charity and direct service is that you're fixing someone's immediate problem. You're addressing the immediate problem versus the benefits of a macro level of social justice is that you're able to affect a large number of people. Now, both of those have the cons, which is if you're just helping out one person, you're not able to affect a large amount of people. But also these policy changes that we make may be very different from the intention originally, may not affect the people it's supposed to affect or represent the people it's supposed to affect, and it also may take years in order to push that policy through. So each one has its pros and its cons, but it's important to understand that each one of these levels are important and they serve a purpose, because at the end of the day, you cannot organize someone who is hungry, right? If you're not taking care of people's direct needs on things like housing and food and childcare, to expect them to attend a protest or to do policy change or go into someone's office and talk to their senators or things like that, we can't do, because their immediate needs, their human needs are not met. And we need to remember that as organizers, because we blame people all the time for why they're not able to come to the protest and all these things. People engage in different ways for different